Damn, there are a lot of people here right now. Thank you all for coming tonight. We're Future Islands. We're from Baltimore, Maryland. All the way to a little state called North Carolina. So happy to be here tonight. This is our first time in Zagreb, our first time in Croatia at the KSET.
So Future Islands here for the first time in Croatia. Hello, how are you feeling?
Good.
How do you like Zagreb? How do you like Set?
It was really nice. We just had some really great food, and yeah, it's a beautiful city.
Yeah, people have been wonderful to us since we got here, and yeah, we've just been enjoying seeing new places, you know, out on the road.
The atmosphere suits you here. The people are okay to you.
Oh yeah, definitely, more than generous.
Okay, that's nice. So, how would you describe your music? In a few words each.
I guess we call it post-wave music. Yeah, that's the simplest, easiest, direct.
Keyboards, bass guitar, program drums.
Singing.
I think that's what I would say. Garrett.
Passionate.
Ooh.
Nice.
Garrett's on point.
What about influences? Who were you influenced by?
Most recently, some of our bigger influences have been like OMD, Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark. Was a big influence on the last album, and then of course Joy Division and New Order, old influences, The Cure and the Smiths, a lot of early new wave, but I don't.
It's good.
So it's British new wave, as well as the American.
Yeah, British new wave is definitely a big. I think for us, British new wave is a big influence on what we do in the romanticism of the lyrics, as well as just kind of that passionate, that drive.
Never stop your love to burning. I shield you like a candle. Body of mine, body of Christ.
The Thrill Jockey, the record label, can you tell us about the record? How did you manage to get one, and how did it happen?
Well, we were really excited because we started work on the last album at the beginning of 2009 after, I guess it was actually right before our first European tour, and we wrote a few songs. This is kind of before we had the album in mind. We wrote a few songs, and the direction that we saw that we were going in, we realized that it was going to be the next album. And those songs were Tin Man, Long Flight, and Apology. And there was another song that's a B-side on an EP, but didn't make the album. But it was, I think, the first song we wrote that was in kind of a newer, darker vein. We were hitting on some things that we hadn't really hit on as a band before. It was our first time really writing as a three-piece. So that was a big, influence in the change of sound. Throughout that year, we did a ton of touring. We came to Europe, did the full U.S. with our friend Dan Deacon, and then went back to Europe with him, and then came back home, began to record that summer, and it was kind of hellish. It was terrible. We were kind of out of our minds because we were so exhausted from being on the road. We thought we would be ready to get in the studio and record these songs, and we realized that we were just beat. So we wrapped up recording and kind of said we're going to put this away for the time being. And then maybe 4 months later, we finally mixed down some of these tracks we did in the summertime that we kind of thought were terrible. And we put together a 4 or 5 song demo and sent that out to some labels. Because at that point we realized, well, what are we working for? If we want it out now, then we're going to push ourselves for no reason if we don't have somebody to put it out. So we took those demos that we thought were good and sent them out. And Thrill Jockey was the first that really jumped on what we were doing. And we were really excited about that. They really wanted to do an album with us. And so that was like a new inspiration. So we signed up to do this album with them and finished it up at the end of the year and got it out.
Nice. Now, if you could choose any band in the world to collaborate with, who would it be and why?
you know,
band or a musician, either.
I think it would be cool to work with Brian Eno. have Brian, produce our stuff. But we have a lot of really talented friends back in Baltimore and North Carolina that we work together on stuff a lot. We collaborate. Like we just did an acoustic EP with some of our musician friends. So we have like a really awesome network. So like that's a reality for us. But I guess like a fantasy would be Brian Eno for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say Brian Eno too, just because somebody that we respect, extremely or very highly for what he does. We just really want him to produce one of our albums, see how he works, and have him be a part of it. But we kind of like our good friend Chester Guazda records for us, and we like consider him our Brian Eno because we've kind of grown together, and he always has his input in what we do. Do you have any?
Aphex Twin for the experience.
So, which music do you listen whilst driving from one town to another when you're on tour in the van?
Whatever Mr. Green wants to listen to right now.
Mr. Green's our driver here. I listen to a lot of hip hop when I drive, a lot of underground stuff, but I don't have any CDs while I'm here, so I'm without music.
It's whatever really. I've been listening to a lot of Italo disco on this tour with my headphones. But in the States, I like to listen to the Fleetwood Mac Tusk. I remember listening to that once, and I really loved that record. So that's one I like to drive to. So, yeah.
Do you have any young bands and musicians in the States that you would like to, that you could recommend to listen and to check out, that you maybe work with, had gigs or something?
Light Asylum, Double Dagger, Lonnie Walker, Romantic States, Lower Dens, Ear Power,
Picture Plane.
Javelin.
There's so many bands. Art Department, yeah, that's one of my favorite Baltimore bands. There's a lot of great bands just in Baltimore. Thank You. You guys might have heard of Beach House or Ponytail. That was a bad joke. They're huge, so. Yeah, there's a lot of good music happening in the States. Baltimore has a really amazing scene, so it's hard to keep your head on.
Kyle Mabson.
Anything Kyle Mabson. XBXRX.
And the last question, what do you expect from tonight, from the gig?
Better be good. No, we don't really expect anything, but we've been, told that we should expect a lot of people out. And we have a good friend in the States. They've been picking on me all day because since we got to Zagreb, I think I went up to the first two people that I met here at the KSET and was like, "Do you know my friend Roman? He's from Croatia." But he lives in Philadelphia, and so he lives in Philly now and is in a band called Grandchildren, another good band to check out. And I think he's been living in the States for 4 or 5 years. But, he told, when we told him that we were playing, his home country, he was like, "I'm going to tell all my friends." Like, he spent his a year or a month or two in the summer here in Zagreb. So he told us it was going to be a good time. So we're really excited to be here and experience it for ourselves.
Crowd surfing. It'd be a
Yeah, is
European first.
there going to be some crowd surfing tonight? Okay, cool. We're going to get you up.
Yes. So thank you very much once again. Good luck on the gig and have a nice time. Enjoy your stay here, and good luck once again. Thank you.
Thank you. That Ryan Paris song went in my head. What did we start talking about? We live in life a le dolce vita.